just set the bar high for yourself and make sure you're doing it for yourself and meeting your own expectations and not others. My first bodybuilding show was Lackland Classic. It was in 2012. And I remember Brandon Ray was a guest poser, and someone was standing next to me and I was watching him guest pose and said, you never want to be like that, right? Like, don't ever take it that far. And at the moment I thought, that's ridiculous. I can never look at this guy. I can never even get there. My mindset, my first show was that I just don't want to get last place. And that was like a protection from failure to say that out loud, rather than trying to just have confidence in what I was bringing. Earlier, it set my ceiling pretty low. That every show was just like, just don't get last. When really I should have set the vision just way higher for myself, because I would have laughed. You say, yeah, someday you're going to be walking onto the Mr. Olympia stage, back to my 2012 bodybuilding self, and I am that person that could have been guest posing at that first show, which was unreal. There was no realization of what the potential could be. One day out from the Olympia, how it feels is a bit surreal. It's hard to even, because I've been to Olympia before, done 212, and 2019, knowing what that stage feels like to walk on, it's quite like a take a breath your away moment. And so I know that's coming. However, like just seeing what the stage layout is and how big they've made it this year, and being that it's the Open, I know it's going to be even more captivating and almost shocking to what's going to be out there. So I do try to visualize a bit of what that moment might be, so it's not too shocking to step on that stage. So it's to know that, and it's just exciting really to go on. I've waited for this moment for a long time, so there's no nerves, because I just still see it as being like another show to walk on, and it's no different. However, it is one of the biggest shows of the year. So, but overall, just grateful and humble for the opportunity. It's just been a lot of fun. I try to enjoy every moment, because you might only get one Olympia experience. So, just excited. One of the biggest challenges of prepping for the Open Olympia is very different from the 212 in a few different aspects. Mentality-wise, for 212, you're just chasing the scale weight down. Your body weight has to get low, and for me, it in turn ends up me being very conditioned, because I just have to make weight. For the Open, it's different because there is no weight cap anymore, and I've got in my head more than ever for prepping for the Open, and struggling with knowing to not chase my body weight down, to look for every little last bit of detail and condition, because that's not the best version of me. And that's the real struggle, is that with 212, like, it just is what it is. Like, you get under 212, you fill out what you can, and that's what you put on stage. But with Open, there's this big range of being able to be a lot fuller, and sometimes fuller is a better look, even though you might not be as conditioned. And for me, like, I love condition, so it's a hard struggle of making sure I don't get on stage and I disappoint myself with not meeting my standard in condition, but also not chasing my weight down so low that I don't have the best physique and the fullest look that I need. So it's been a real mind game in that sense, over prepping for 212, and not really like where would I fit in with these Open guys. It's more so just like I've gone back to meeting my own standard. So that's been the hardest mental aspect to overcome, prepping for Open versus the 212. Fortunately enough, I haven't had different external circumstances that make my prep have a lot of adversity, but it's usually just your own head is the one that can be the most problematic. So, but I'm in a great headspace now for being so close to the show. I'm really proud of the look that I at least see. All that left is to land the plane on stage and nail it. For the final moments leading up to the show, it's very different, this peak for this Olympia. I've never done a show where you go on potentially like 10 p.m. at night, and that's pre-judge. It's been a long time actually since I've done a 2-day show as well, which then the next day I go down at night as well. So nailing the moment of my peak to walk on stage is what I'm really focused on, meal by meal, all the way from one day out to show day. Even practicing this earlier in the week too, that's kind of how I run my peaks, is trying to find my look. And that look is going to be a visual correlated with some type of body weight typically. So I look for this kind of weight range in the visuals that I think are best to go on stage with. So for example, today, if I wake up at 231, I usually find my best is this 234 look. But I know by nighttime, I need to weigh 238, so I account for how much weight drop I have overnight. So what I'm mapping out today is going to be the food and fluid I need to understand how quickly my body weight moves up. Then on show day, I have this rate to be able to look at my meals and my fluid, get up to 234, then I have to hold that all the way to finals and not let my weight go higher. So what I'm mapping out today is trying to figure out exactly the food and fluid I'm gonna need to adjust for tomorrow, but it's still all on the fly as well, meal by meal. So every meal I take pics, I look at my meals and make decisions afterwards. So ideally it's probably gonna be quite a bit of fluid reduction on show day to hold that, is usually how it goes. And that's what a lot of these moments are, just fine tuning the peak. So I know at 10 p.m. when I go on, if it is that late, that I can walk on at this 234 where I have that great balance of fullness and condition.
Yeah, Backstage, it's fast moving to a degree. We weren't fully aware of when we were gonna be exactly going on. And then when it's time to go on, like expediters are like, all right, line up guys, let's go. So it's almost, you don't have a lot of time to process, even if you're gonna have nerves or not. I've done this so often that I just know like I'm in my mode to execute. And it's weird to get on stage because right when I'm standing back there, about to have my name called to walk out, and you can see like just glimpses of this massive audience with multiple floors that move up. If you feel like, I told someone that it's like being like a gladiator in Rome in the Colosseum, like just people surrounding you and they're all just watching you in this moment. And you think like that would be extremely intimidating and make you nervous, but I can't explain it. It does it for me. There's a excitement level that I'm ready to finally present years of work, not just a prep, but years of doing this. And that in that moment, I'm in my zone and I'm ready just to present the best that I can be, and take in every moment was important to me too. I feel like when some people, you get so focused on, am I gonna mess up? Am I gonna forget my pose? That you just lose sight of actually the experience. So for me, being out on stage, I'm in the zone, man. That is my place where I shine. I love every moment of it. So I wanted to walk away from the Olympia having fun on stage. And when I'm off the sidelines and just seeing the other guys pose, like I'm just enjoying the experience. I'm watching the guys pose, I'm watching the audience, and to take it all in and remember this, because you never know when it could be your last time at the Olympia.
For you out there, that something you're passionate about, set the bar just extremely high. Speak it out. It can sound as crazy as you want it to. I'm gonna be Mr. Olympia. That's a wild thought, but at least you chase something way beyond what you thought was possible, and you can at least land farther than what you were when you have a ceiling set really low for yourself.
Now that the Olympia's over, I feel charged up actually from it. It was a hell of an experience. just standing next to the best in the world and realizing that you are at that level. What I didn't know going out there was like, am I gonna look like a 212 guy standing next to all the open guys, or will it actually look open and be an Olympia contender? And I knowing that I can contend is just so exciting to now even move into the off season and bring more improvement. So some people could look at placings and say like, oh, I wish I could have placed higher and get discouraged from it, but that's not me at all, because one thing getting on stage was making sure that I left knowing I nailed an awesome peak. Like I was conditioned, I was full, I posed well, and it was my best to date. I can truly say that. So that was success to me. So it leaves me just leaving just exciting and knowing to move forward. There's still a lot of room that I still can improve. And this Olympia was just about setting expectations for where I stand. And now that those are set, now I have like some outcome base that I want to improve upon from moving forward. So I end up getting 11th, which is a phenomenal placing. It's being the 11th best in the world, which is crazy to say. So to see how I can progress forward from here and move up the ranks is just on fire for bodybuilding again. When I felt like I was a little bit just lacking some of that in the 212. Looking back across this Olympia journey, the thing that I'm most proud of and the thing that I believe would probably be my legacy to leave behind, where we just had our Animal Barbell Club here and talking with several people, and the main thing we talked about was the education I provide and the transparency and genuineness of sharing my journey throughout all of this. And people are learning from this process and just bettering their own bodybuilding journey. And I think what I'm most proud of is to be able to transition from 212 to now the highest level in bodybuilding and be able to teach people from it. And knowing that what do guys really do that are at the Open Olympia, and if you can teach, and I could take my physique there and share that with everyone else, that we can still better the industry standard of coaching across all divisions, from when you're just starting out all the way to when you're walking, to try to be the best Open Olympian that you can be. So I'm proud to be able to be an educator and humbled that people are open to even listen to me. I think the secondary point throughout this prep is trying to maintain relationships with like Renee specifically, that competing at a higher and higher level is more and more demanding. And one thing that I feel like it's been at its best has been the relationship with Renee and I, where past preps, it can be a struggle. And I know people that share in Renee and I's journey that wonder like that we look like this perfect couple that does this, and it is a challenge at to different degrees. But this is the prep where we have been the closest, and I'm really proud of that. That bodybuilding is the thing I do. It's not the person I am, and the person I am is a husband, and that's a primary role for me. And so that's been prioritized this prep, and another aspect that I'm extremely proud of. Yeah, to look back when I first started bodybuilding, seeing the Open would be the pinnacle, and to now have essentially walked onto the summit last night. It's a breathtaking experience. It's very surreal at the same time, and it flies by to even think back to last night of like, did I actually even do that? And it's realizing you are at that level. I feel like there's a degree of even imposter syndrome, honestly, before you're even there, because you still question like your potential and what are you really going to look like on stage, and should you be there? Did you get the easy qualification? And I want everyone to realize that even at the top level, you question that. And what you should have to even make success in this is realizing that you are at that level and have the self-belief. And I do have that going out on stage. And now it's even just further validated when I can look on my stage pics and realize that I absolutely do fit in amongst the Open. Like, I'm an open bodybuilder, and I'm a competitive open bodybuilder. I'm not just there on an easy qualification. Like, I'm an actual Olympia contender. So to be amongst the best and truly know that I have my place there, that it was well earned, just gives me great self-satisfaction that I have checked off this. It could be a bucket list item really, but it's still not enough. Like you get to the mountaintop, you're like, you look over to see if there's a bigger mountain to climb afterwards, right? Is it Mount Everest? Like, is there a bigger mountain from there? So it's still from here. It's like, I want more. Like, how much more can I go? And I will keep going, is the thing. And because I know I'm not at my limit's end yet. I'm just still improving. I'm just getting started.
That his mom already told the entire retirement home that he won the Mr. Olympia.
So, no, it's the Mr. Olympics is what she said.
But it's okay, it's okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, that's like Arnold.